do you feel that this would have been better if it was a TV series?
Yes.
I also felt the same.
Oh, what's up?
Welcome to our coffee shop. I'm your host, Chit. Welcome to another episode of the KopiBros show presented by the Chit Podcast Network. Now, for those of you that are tuning in via YouTube or any sort of podcasting platform, hi again. Thank you so much for giving us a try, for giving us a listen. We're just a Singaporean duo that went to watch Oppenheimer. Nolan. Not Barbie. No. That one another day. But speaking of Nolan fans, once again I'm joined by resident Singaporean Nolan fan, Ti Yong. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Doing great. We are going to be reviewing the movie Oppenheimer, because if you see the previous episodes, like maybe 2 or 3 episodes before this, we did sort of like the tier listing of the Nolan movies. Like, grading some of the Nolan movies and stuff like that. Yep. And we did mention in the episode that when Oppenheimer comes out, we're going to be reviewing the movie. Yes. Now, it came out recently as well. I think like just a few days, same day as Barbie. But Ting Yong, for you, how was your sort of like movie going experience? Like which cinema do you go to, what tickets do you buy and stuff like that?
I didn't buy the what's that thing called? They have some IMAX experience. I didn't buy that. I just bought the most normal ticket. Yeah,
but the IMAX experience is like the one that they recommend, right?
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah. Because okay lah, but I think there are certain scenes in the movie that will sort of warrant the IMAX experience lah. Especially since it's about the atomic bomb, I think some of the scenes will be, the IMAX experience will give you a better experience lah.
Yeah, explosive experience.
Yes. But I bought the most common ticket lah, and I watched it at Cathay at Parkway Parade.
Oh, okay. The Parkway Parade is the one that is near. You have to walk a bit, right, from the MRT station. It's not like directly next to the MRT.
Actually, the nearest MRT is in between Bedok and like Paya Lebar, so it's actually quite far.
Yeah.
So the MRT station in Marine Parade is actually being built at the moment lah.
Yeah, but like, because we had to like rush to get this movie review out, right? Because like we have to record this on a Friday, one day after we watch it on the day that it comes out on Thursday, right? Yeah. What timing do you watch the movie? Do you watch it today or yesterday or what?
I watched yesterday 8 p.m. to 11. So actually, I had my dinner inside the movie theater.
Oh, you had your dinner you ate like the popcorn chicken and the
the kind of Max actually.
Max.
Yeah.
What did
I didn't tell you the sauce from the burger dropped on my jacket, and then I'm like, it's all dark, then I cannot. Where's the
What do you eat? What do you eat?
I ate those wrap, I think. Like
the wrap
or something. Yeah.
Okay, like, it makes sense to have a wrap, because when you eat it, like, it goes downwards.
Correct.
Control. Correct. Yeah, in comparison to the burger. We had like the fries and the drink, all these.
Don't have. I ate that. That's why I didn't go for fries. I went for corn. And
okay, makes sense. Yeah. We're sitting like with someone else next to you.
Yes. Yeah, a couple actually.
It's like, this guy's eating McDonald's in the cinema. Yeah. Did I tell you about the time that I watched Aquaman at Eng Wah?
No.
So I was watching it with my group of friends from church, right? Shout out Wendy, right? Because Wendy was sitting next to this person. All of a sudden, like, we can smell like this fishy smell. Then this uncle was eating otah.
What the hell?
Yeah. Then she looked at me like, otah? like really? Like, of all the things.
Of all things?
Yeah, of all things otah. But yeah, speaking of like those difficult uncles, right? So I went to watch it at Jewel. Which is like, yeah. And Jewel, if you ever been to the cinemas, right, itself, they're more like, how to say, they're not like IMAX that type, but the quality of the seats are good lah.
I see.
So when I was, so I picked the one that's at the back. So I was sitting with my wife, and then next to me was this uncle who's also sitting with his wife. Yeah. So I don't know if you've ever done this, right? But when you're with 2 people, when you have one popcorn, most of the time one of them will get a plastic bag, and then the other one will get a bucket. Have you seen this before?
No.
So a lot of people, right, they get the plastic bag so that they can half the bucket And then like, okay, you take the bucket, I take the plastic bag, right?
Yeah.
Bro, there are a lot of times during this movie where it's like, wow, like very intense dialogue, bro. I swear, I thought like I was a raccoon like rustling through garbage. No, I was like, uncle, like, really? Like seriously? Then got one part, it was very intense, right? Then I could hear the then I was like, uncle, please lah.
Falling asleep. Oh my god.
Yeah. It was not the most enjoyable partner I could have been sitting next to. But overall, yeah, but it didn't affect the overall experience. But how much did you pay for the tickets? Sorry, you go ahead first.
13.50. Yeah, not cheap lah. But
Yeah,
I like going to places like Parkway Parade because there are less people lah. I think the theater was about 20% filled only yesterday night.
Really? Only 20% filled?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think a lot of people went to watch the Barbie movie actually. Yeah, because I saw the box office, the reactions, right? I think Barbie is like double the amount of Oppenheimer at the moment. Yes,
and surprisingly, they have quite rave reviews there.
I think it's very meta and also very, they were saying like, because Noah Baumbach is the one that wrote that one, and also like Greta Gerwig is like, we are acclaimed director lah. But we already touched upon the Barbie thing, that's why we have the childhood toy draft. Yeah, but for this week, we're just going to be reviewing specifically the movie Oppenheimer. I think it was a long 3-hour movie.
Yes.
Yeah, but okay, I think for all of us, let's just get right into
Oppenheimer.
All right. Now that we're going to be sort of deep diving into this movie, I think it'd be good for us to first sort of like describe the movie and the plot, because a lot of people, they might not understand exactly what is this Oppenheimer movie about. The movie is actually based around this real person who is J. Robert Oppenheimer. It's also Nolan's first true biopic of a character. The plot is based on the character of J. Robert Oppenheimer, who is played by Cillian Murphy during the era of World War II and the ongoing war. The movie essentially goes through the process of his life. First of all, at the time in his university, becoming a lecturer, becoming well known for his ability in science, becoming a US Communist Party supporter. So it's like quite politically open-minded. And then he also gets involved after that slowly in the Manhattan Project, building the atomic bomb. And then after that, we get to see the process of his morality change after the bomb sort of drops lah, Yamasaki and Hiroshima. But Jin Yong, first off, I think it's good for us to have a launching point for this review. I would like for you to describe this movie, right? Or give your first opinion of this movie, right, in 10 words. So what would you sort of classify this movie as?
I thought hard about this. I cannot give a very resounding 10-word summary without giving too much of the movie away.
Yeah.
So I decided,
I think also we caveat this by saying that we are not going to say spoilers lah. We're trying not to. Yeah.
Okay, we're trying not to lah.
Yeah.
So I'll just say that this is a movie about the creation of the atomic bomb and the things that happen around it.
Okay.
Yeah, not so much about like the historical thing, like this bomb fell where, how many people died, this kind of thing. But I think more about the people that surrounded the creation and of the atomic bomb lah.
Okay, interesting. So for you, your perspective is more of like, it is the atomic bomb is still the catalyst, but it's just that how they use the characters around the atomic bomb.
Yes. Especially the last 1/3 of the movie. I divided the movie into 3 portions lah.
Yes, me too.
The last portion of the movie was where I really felt the theme of the movie come out. And to me, it was really about the people surrounding the creation of the atomic bomb. It wasn't about the atomic bomb, which is why.
Correct.
Yeah, which is why the movie is not called like the Manhattan Project or like the atomic bomb. It's called Oppenheimer.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's about people revolving around him. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So I guess from my perspective, right, I would say that it's similar to yours, but not exactly the same. So for me, right, I would say for my 10 words is that it's a very good biopic. It's incredibly well directed and acted, but it's very dialogue heavy.
Yes.
So I think first off, right, when you watch this movie, a lot of people will have a misconception when you go in and thinking like, oh, this is a movie about the atomic bomb.
Yes, exactly.
But I feel that this movie is actually about Oppenheimer's character.
Yes.
So it's really truly a biopic film where they go through the life of a character, and then like they go through like, okay, his time in university, then after that, how he sort of become famous as a scientist, then how he links to the Manhattan Project, and then after that, the repercussions of the dropping of the bomb lah. I think if you go in with the mindset that, or a preconceived notion that this will be similar to other Nolan movies, right, you might be a bit disappointed.
Yeah, so I had the same perception as you because it's a 3 hour long movie.
Yes.
So this was the first time I went into Nolan's movie, like sort of expecting to be entertained for 3 hours straight, which is not the case.
It's
so
not
for
the
the first
case.
2/3 of the movie, I was sort of questioning myself, like, actually this one quite boring, and why is it like that? But I think at the last 1/3, when they did all the interrogation, and then when the dialogue started getting more and more, then I'm like, oh, okay, this is now getting interesting. Like, I sort of get why these things are happening, and then, the theme of the movie for me started coming out. Then I'm like, okay, this is a Nolan movie. Yes, this is a Nolan movie.
Yeah, so in a way, because similar to you, I broke it down into 3 acts as well. So the first act I have is like before the Manhattan Project.
Correct.
I have the Manhattan Project, and then I have the after Manhattan Project.
Correct, exactly.
Yeah, but throughout the movie, right, when you're watching this, there's a sort of a catalyst launching point, which is him getting interrogated by the FBI.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, so they sort of use this linking point to sort of launch throughout the movie to these different segments of the film. So if you're watching this expecting a linear story structure, right, this is not what you're going to get because...
Exactly.
Yeah, which is why it can come off confusing at times. So on top of the fact that, yes, it's dialogue heavy, right? It's a lot of like, you jump here, then you all of a sudden jump to the future. Or like you jump back to the past, and then now you're in the present. But at the same time, when he uses the present, you don't know whether is it the present future or the present past. Do you know what I mean? Like, because, yeah, is it during the time of the Manhattan Project or is it the time of after the Manhattan Project? Because he uses color to differentiate.
Exactly. Most movies, they use black and white to sort of bring people back to the past, to talk about things in the past. But this was actually the opposite. The black and white was actually just to flesh out the scenes of a certain person, the director Strauss.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. And it's actually happening in the present.
Yes.
Right? Whereas all the past and everything else, including the Oppenheimer's interrogation scene, it was all actually filmed in color.
Yes.
So correct. I would say this use of color was very interesting because it's not about to intertwine the past and the present. It was actually for a very, very specific code that later the director Strauss will say at the end of the movie.
My initial thought, right, when I was watching it, right, the journey from the starting point to the middle point, right, and then to the end, I don't know about you, but it does feel like it takes its time to really develop the character.
Yes.
Because the marketing behind the movie, right, is mainly like the atomic bomb is the main thing, or like how he makes the atomic bomb is the...
Exactly, yeah.
But I would say that it's really like, okay, that portion is really 1/3 of the movie. But once that portion is done, right, it is done. So it's like they forgo the atomic bomb. Yeah, and then they move on to the morality part of the whole situation. Yeah, but I don't know about you. Overall, in terms of like the length, the story structures, all this, do you have any issues? Like you were saying initially, like it was hard to follow at first.
It wasn't hard to follow, but for me, I find a lot of the first part of the movie a bit redundant. And then, of course, after I watched the third part, and then I sort of understand, that's why he had to focus on this, why he had to focus on so much of his like involvement in the communist regime. But even then, I still felt that it's a bit too unfocused at the beginning. I felt that a lot of scenes could be taken out. Like, for example, can I even say this? Okay, for example, the nude scene.
Okay.
Yeah, Florence Pugh was nude twice in this movie. I felt that both were redundant. Because I for me, right, a nude scene has to have a certain point in it. So some people they had to show the intimate relationship between two characters because this would have some after effect to the main character later. But as we see in the movie, it didn't actually affect him much. Right, his wife just slapped him and asked him to wake up, say people are depending on you. Then end of story already. He woke up and okay, I have to continue with this. So for me, that part. And to me the Florence Pugh character seems a bit redundant, and I think there are better ways to sort of flesh out his relationship with the communism lah. Yeah.
So when they go through his university sort of perspective, and then also like how he gets involved in the Communist Party, how he sort of becomes more of a famous scientist and a lecturer. So for you, one of the issues is you feel that there's a pacing issue, or like there's a certain thing that they could have removed, or certain thing. I felt exactly the same, like when I was watching the first 1/3 of the movie, I was like, okay, in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, okay, so when are we going to start doing the bomb?
Exactly.
Or like Yeah, so you feel the same way also?
Yes.
Yeah. Why do you feel that is, right? I don't know. Is it because it was marketed for the bomb? So I just kept thinking like, I want to see him make the bomb. I don't want to see the initial part, but it's technically important to the final act.
Yes.
But at the same time, you feel like a lot of things could have been removed. I agree with you like completely lah. Yeah.
To serve the third act, right? I understand that there's some need for the first act to have certain things that you have to flesh it out so that it makes sense in the third act lah.
Yeah, you need to give the character some sort of like background info. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, but I felt that some of the other acts, some of the things in the first act are like gets repeated too much. Number one, and then number two, they get talked about, and then I don't see a purpose in it lah. So like for example, he poisoned he put the poison in the professor's apple. It didn't get fleshed out later ma, right? Yeah. A lot of this thing like his relationship with Lawrence, how he built up, they become such good friends, and then torn apart later. Then it didn't really have any major repercussions also. The movie is 3 hours long, so I think it could be shortened lah. Because I don't know lah, maybe he wanted to really do it like you say, like a biopic, which is why he thought he should flesh out certain things about his life.
Yeah, you need the necessary background, but I think they could have easily cut maybe like 20 minutes off the first part. Yeah, which would have made it maybe like a 2 hour, 40-minute sort of thing lah. And then
I'm not complaining about seeing Florence Pugh naked, but I really do think the scene is a bit redundant.
Yeah, redundant. It's a bit of a redundant thing lah. Yeah. I was watching with my wife also. She was saying like this is a bit weird, or this is a bit like unnecessary and stuff like that lah. Yeah, but I think the good things about the first act is that they introduce like first off Oppenheimer. They show like a lot of cinematography of like what his mind is thinking, or like perspectives of what is going on in his brain, which like sort of like show throughout the film that he doesn't think like other people. Yeah, or his brain is wired in a different way. Yeah, which I think was very well done. I think a lot of the effects, right, were actually done via like not CG. So he was like, he like really
swears against CGI.
Yeah. So it was like really very visually stunning. But I think the main sort of interesting part of the film is when you dive into the second part of the story a bit more, where they actually develop the Manhattan Project. So when they develop the Manhattan Project, which is when they start making the atomic bomb, they introduce more characters. Then they show you how they sort of like develop this town in the middle of like the nowhere and stuff like that lah. Yeah, but I don't know about you, but I really loved like Matt Damon and like a lot of the side characters that they sort of like introduced after that. I thought it was very well casted people lah. A lot of people that were very well put together and put into the film.
Rami Malek appearing for less than 5 minutes in the movie. Rami Malek can be a star like in other movies, and he appeared just for 5 minutes in the movie.
Bro, there are a lot. We'll mention it later. The side character things.
Casey Affleck.
Yeah, Casey Affleck. But there's a lot of like, they can be like leading role in other movies, but I think they're like, okay, I want to be in the Christopher Nolan. I just want to have the Christopher Nolan like tag in my in my CV lah. But for you, the second act, how do you find it personally, or do you find it very?
Of course, the pace picked up. Yeah, right. And they introduced his wife.
Yeah, Emily Blunt.
Okay. And I felt that it was a very big how to say it was a very big pity with the wife, because I felt that the wife had a lot of potential to be fleshed out. Because, like you say, I think we agreed last time that Nolan is not good at writing female characters.
Yeah, he's not.
So it really surprised me in the third act when the wife actually stood out against the interrogator.
Yeah, interrogator, Jason Clarke. Yeah, the actor. So
I felt that this, her character could have been more full, because when we first got to know her in the second act, it was like, she's just, she went through a lot of turbulence, then now she just want to get with a man that sort of she likes, this kind of thing. Yeah. Whereas I think that actually, there could have been more done to her character lor. Especially the part when I find it very interesting is when she first had her first son or daughter. There was this scene when the Oppenheimer came back and she like, why you're not attending to the baby? Like the baby is crying, Then he had to take the baby and like give to his friend, which is the
leader of the Communist Party.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, give to his friend. Okay, so I thought that's actually a very interesting thing to sort of like build the wife's character, so that you can slowly culminate into the part when she stood out against the interrogator, to show that this couple actually grew up in terms of character together, is going through all these trials and tribulations together lah.
I sort of understand why Nolan didn't flesh it out very well, because a lot of the perspective is from Oppenheimer's perspective. Yes. So it's like, I guess, especially when you look at it, the first scene, right, where they're in the interrogation room, actually Emily Blunt is like in the side.
Yes, there. Exactly.
But she's not like not focused at all in the frame.
Exactly, until a certain point of time.
Yeah, until Oppenheimer like they bring her up. Then or then after they focus like, okay, Emily Blunt is in the room,
Exactly.
which I think Christopher Nolan was trying to say that the way that Oppenheimer views her, right, in a way, is really like, you're not important until I need you, sort of perspective.
Okay. Interesting. I never saw it that way. Yes.
Yeah, but overall, I thought that Emily Blunt, she was a great character lah. Yeah, and then the second act is when they start introducing like all of the scientists, and then they come into the Manhattan Project, and then you get to see like how they built the bomb. It's actually quite interesting lah, because you see like they need plutonium, uranium. But I thought it was very interesting also to go and see right how he took a lot of liberties with national security. Do you feel the same also?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things that, how do you say that, you know, when they say when your leader is not a certain way, it trickles down to the people below him.
Yes.
So like the general keeps telling him that, you know, you have to I don't know what's the word called, like, that means you cannot leak the secret, right?
Yeah.
But he keeps saying that no, this one is just among the important people. Then it got to the point that even when Lawrence, when he wasn't a part of the project, and then he came in, he just openly ignored the general's instruction and said, yeah, I told you I understood, right, but doesn't mean I agree. So he started talking about all this thing on the board, you know, like just going against all this national security stuff. Yeah.
They are all scientists. They put all of their families there, but they are not really following proper protocol, proper structures in terms of like national security, which I think is important later on when you dive into the third act. I would say that there's also a linking point from the second act to the third act, which is the point where they actually develop the bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are a few scenes where they show like, okay, like this is tense. They're really going to decide whether they're going to drop the bomb on Japan or not.
Yeah.
Which I think then brings out the sort of starting point for his morality division in himself, where he's sort of debating like, okay, we built this atomic bomb to sort of end the war, but actually the war is already coming to an end.
Yeah. So or what?
Yes, by the US logic, right? The generals, all this, they believe like, you'll completely stop the Japanese from fighting already. Then we can bring all the soldiers back home lah. Yeah. But at the same time, also, it's like if you start this, and then if like
it's an arms race, yeah.
Yeah, it becomes like a different level of arms race. It might lead to like overall more destruction and stuff like that. And I think that this is important because they reference a lot the book, which is the American Prometheus, regarding the life of Oppenheimer. This is the basis of what Nolan sort of made the movie around. But I think to give some perspective, Tinyon, can you explain what is the story of Prometheus?
Oh, so Prometheus was a Greek mythology god. So he was punished by Zeus because when Zeus created humans, it was basically for the entertainment of gods. So he didn't want to give humans fire because he thought when humans have fire, they will become dangerous. But Prometheus, being the kind soul that he is, he brought fire to the humans, and of course, for that, he brought, with fire, came enlightenment, came knowledge, this kind of thing. So Zeus was very angry and punished him that every day, chain him to a rock, that every day an eagle will come, eat out his heart, and then because he's a god, the heart will grow back out. And then next day, the eagle will come again, continue eating his heart. Sort of because he brought the atomic bomb to the humans, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, this atomic bomb will soon come back to haunt him.
Yes, correct. So in a way, he will be the suffering point for humanity because he's the one that gave them the world, the ability to destroy each other, which is ultimately the whole gist of the final act, which is the third act. Because after you sort of see that they decide like, okay, we're going to drop the bomb in Japan. Then they go into the third act and then they discuss the repercussions of this bombing, which is like sort of they deep dive into, okay, now you were a communist. You also were someone that didn't handle the project properly, so you're very loose with your security connections. And then now in this final third, you're also the maker of the bomb. So now the third act is like, okay, are you a trusted citizen that we can trust on to go and handle the next stage of this project, which is the arms race? Do you even want to be in this arms race because you're sort of being conflicting in the in your information that you're giving off? You're wanting more to have like international understanding, right?
We come to a pact. Nobody can fire this atomic bomb, which is what is being done now.
So for you, this is the more interesting part of the whole film, the third act.
Yes, of course, because I felt that atomic bomb is, of course, it's scary, right? It can kill a lot of people, but I think what is even more scary is how people kill one another over the most pettiest of reasons. I think my favorite parts about the third act was sort of the revelation behind Mr. Straw,
Strauss.
Strauss. At first thinking that he had his way, and then suddenly you out of nowhere come this turn, and then actually there are people that's aware of what he's doing and willing to stand out against him.
Yeah, correct.
And
correct,
then
correct.
for Cillian Murphy, for Oppenheimer to sort of just take it all in, that is something I never wrapped my head around, right? Because yes, Einstein told him that that you brought this so-called devil to this world, you have to be responsible for it. But I'm a bit like his wife. I never understood why he never stood back and fought back. To me, he felt that this was his retribution.
Yeah, correct. In a way, it felt like I created the bomb, so therefore I must suffer because I'm the one that made the bomb.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's technically, like, if you link it back to the Prometheus story, he doesn't mind getting like attacked.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So he didn't really put up a fight. The only thing that he really wanted to fight for was the fact that he felt, if I'm not the one speaking up for like everyone to agree with them, there might be a chance that everyone might just kill each other lah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's not, for him, it's not so much more of the reputation, it's more of the guilt. That's more or less the like linear structure. And then I think after that they use the interrogation scenes to sort of link it back lah.
Yes.
I thought the interrogation scenes, right, were like good like they were very well done, very thought. And I thought the actor, right, who plays the main interrogator, who is Jason Clarke, right, I thought he did a fantastic job, especially in the final third act where he's like pushing this Oppenheimer.
You see him like draw the chair up, then he go up to Emily Blunt and go out to Oppenheimer.
And then he do a lot of like tricks lah to go and try and push the thing like that. I thought he was but besides like the most of this, right, in terms of technical aspect, what are some things that maybe you liked or you thought that was very well done?
No, I felt that the moral dilemma being fleshed out is actually done very well lah. Right? A lot of things, right, I felt that it was interesting in the sense that he didn't sway too much to one side. He sort of tried to present both sides and sort of let people see, what are some of the things that actually go on behind decisions, right? And you can really feel that, sometimes like as much as you would like to say one person can change the world, right? Sometimes when this thing is so powerful, right? This thing and there's so many people involved, right? Things just get really out of hand. It's really out of your hand to sort of decide what to do with it. To me, this is one of the most important things I realized growing up, especially when I started to work, is that how difficult it is to attain things, right? When we were studying, it's like so easy to say that, you just work hard, right? Study hard, and then you get good results, this kind of thing, right? Whereas when you grow up, you realize that to complete a project, there's so many factors involved. Then later, there's this thing that come out of nowhere that might derail everything. So I think this was something that to me was done quite well, lah.
And I think there's that scene, I think that stands out in my mind, of like after they built the bomb and then they successfully test it, which was like a great scene overall, like when they go there, where they test it and stuff like that. But then they go on such highs of like making the bomb, and then you can see the moment that after they make the bomb and then they hand it over to the government, right? They're like, because after that, this Matt Damon's, this Oppenheimer, he says to like the scientists lah, just because we made the bomb doesn't mean that we get to decide how we're going to use it, no? Like, so I get what I mean. So they spend so much, like 3-4 years making this bomb, and then in the end also they use it. You cannot decide how it's going to be used. You cannot decide whether it'll be used safely or stuff like that lah. Which is like sort of derails his whole plan in the ending. I thought that was very well fleshed out. And I also think in terms of like filmmaking perspective, right, one thing that I thought was very, very well done, right, was the score. So the guy that did this score, if I'm not wrong, is the same guy that did the score for Tenet, which I can feel. So there's a lot of like tension building using specific, just a lot of score. The way that they mix the sound editing, like there's scenes where, after the bomb successfully drops, right? Then he's like walking into the hall, and then you can feel everyone stomping their feet.
Boom,
and then like boom, boom, boom.
Wow,
I felt like, like the way that your sound editor and sound mix was like, wow, really very good lah. Like the whole.
It's not that kind of like excitement bang. It's that kind of like you feel like like very enclosed kind. I don't know how they do that kind of
it's like you feel trapped, or you feel like being like squeezed and stuff like that lah. We can sort of like start diving into the character performances and stuff like that. Cillian Murphy, I think he'll be Oscar nominated. Like easily will get Oscar nominated for this performance lah, because he has to go through 3 different phases of this character's life.
Exactly.
And a lot of the times he has to act with his eyes lah.
Unlike like his previous like Peaky Blinders, right? Peaky Blinders, I felt that he had a very how to say his character was cast there already, right? He just had to work around it.
Yeah.
But I felt that this was really one that he really had to work for it, lah, right? There were a lot of emotions, there were like ups and downs. He had to feel the burden of like trying to be in the middle, but being swayed by a lot of things around him. Yeah. So if there's one thing I could have asked more, is that I would have loved to see a more conflicted Oppenheimer. But I think the director made a very conscious effort that he wanted to try to keep him as neutral as possible. Your first lover dies because of you, right? I think that's a very good point to sort of see how he broke down, right? But it didn't happen lah.
Yeah, it didn't happen, and it was sort of like the wife telling him like, "Hey, snap out of it lah." Like,
yeah.
Then after that he gets to work already. Yeah, so it's like that. Yeah, so we should sort of links back to the Florence Pugh, whether it was a necessary character or not lah. Yeah, another great performance, right, that I feel will get Oscar nominated is this Robert Downey Jr. lah.
Oh yes. Oh my god. Yeah,
what a performance, right? Like, I mean, like,
especially
when
nuanced
performance.
The first two acts, right? You can really feel like, hey, this guy like pleasant guy, like, oh, he gave Oppenheimer a chance when nobody gave him a chance, this kind of shit. Then the last part, I'm like, oh my god, you can see the claws coming out. I'm like, wow, this one, wow,
yeah,
he did it damn well, leh.
Yeah, he did damn well. It's like the true nature of the person come out at the end, lah. Yeah. It was good to see Robert Downey Jr. perform in a different kind of role, because for so long, right, he's been sort of like this smart ass character lah.
Yeah.
Like for a lot of his movies, like Tropic Thunder, what Sherlock Holmes are, like even Iron Man, famously for Iron Man. Then even if you go back all the way, it's like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang also, right? He's still acting at this like sort of like smart aleck type of character lah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when you see him in this movie, right, you're like, this Robert Downey Jr., he's really a damn good actor. Like he does, you shouldn't always like typecast him to be that type of like smart ass character. He can, it's very diverse lah. Yeah, it's like it goes back to the time when he was in Zodiac and stuff like that. Like, it reminded me.
I was just watching the YouTube got this channel called Answering Auto Correct Questions. That is one of the only time I ever seen Christopher Nolan smiling so happily, because off screen Robert Downey Jr. is so funny. Then I just play around with him. Yeah. Yeah.
As in like Robert Downey Jr., right? You feel like, he's actually Iron Man because
exactly.
Yeah, he's not really
the Iron Man out of him. I'm just a shoe salesman.
Yeah, I'm just a shoe salesman.
I'm just a lowly shoe salesman.
Yeah, he's like, he purposely kept underplaying his role in the film. And he's also like trying to sell it to us that he's just a shoe salesman.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, great performance. Is there any sort of like side character or character that you felt like, oh, this person, like, even though he was in here for a short bit, he was like great lah?
I felt Casey Affleck's character had a lot of potential.
Because
I was expecting more from this character, because he was so-called supposed to be the, what do we call it? The wedge that drive between Matt Damon and Oppenheimer's character ma.
Yeah.
So I was quite disappointed to see him appear for only about, 1 minute, then he's gone already.
Yeah. There were a lot of like characters like that. Like let me run through some of the side characters that are actually high profile people.
Yeah.
So Rami Malek appears for like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
just out of nowhere. Dane DeHaan, who is also outstanding in the film. Dane DeHaan is the second in charge next to Matt Damon. So there's always like this character
Lieutenant Colonel.
Yeah, that like a bit don't like Oppenheimer. Like yeah, the actor is very good lah. Casey Affleck, as you said. Jack Quaid, who is the main character in The Boys, the TV show.
Yeah.
Kenneth Branagh, who is the the director of like Murder on the Orient Express, first Thor, River Now. Yeah, Josh Peck from Drake and Josh. He's like, I was like, huh? Josh, hug me, brother.
Yeah.
the Brendan's favorite childhood character. But my favorite cameo, right, is this Gary Oldman.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. When you see Gary Oldman, right, as President Truman, right?
Yeah.
And then he just comes on for like literally 5 minutes, right? Owns the character and then like dunks on the Cillian Murphy.
Get this crybaby out of my office.
Yeah, get this cry. Then he take the go and cry. Yeah. And then he said something is like, they will not remember who is the one that made the bomb. They remember the one who is the one that dropped the bomb.
They only know that they only know who dropped the bomb. They won't remember who invented the bomb.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, crazy. Yeah. Okay, but now that we sort of talk about the characters, we go through the movie plot. I think it's not a perfect movie. There are also some flaws that we have lah. Yeah. First off, I think you and I can agree that the movie is too long.
Yeah.
They could have cut like maybe 20 minutes from the front,
Yeah.
maybe about 10 minutes from the middle, and then maybe 10 minutes from the back. So I think, to be honest, the movie could have been at the most 2.5 hours lah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think so also? Like,
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, 2.5 hours would have been just nice. Yeah, I felt that they could have just cut out the whole, like, him poisoning the apple.
Unionization, then him asking his students to, hey, you all should unionize, and after that cannot. And it's kind of, I feel like no point lah. Yeah.
Yeah. And also I felt like the brother character.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, wasn't very well. Like, I just felt like he was just like there, and then sometimes he like disappears. And the actor he's quite a good actor, because I've seen him in You, the Netflix series, like the season 3 one. He's a good actor, just that he's a bit wasted in his role, very limited role. So I don't know, is it maybe Nolan was trying to do the same thing as Emily Blunt? It's like, when I need you, then you're here. If I don't need you, then you're not there lah. Another issue that I personally had is that the dialogue is hard to hear. Because for me, right, the sound was good. Like, the sound mixing, all this, I thought was like brilliant. The issues I had, right, was because it's so dialogue heavy, right? I think I can only make up maybe 80% of the dialogue. But there's still like 20% where it's like fast paced, but like mumbo jumbo that comes out. And then a lot of the times it's like, because they're at this base camp, there's like a British person here, there's like a Russian person here, or whatever, right? So when they're speaking, it's like different accents, and then they're talking in a very...
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like a lot of the things I can't pick up. And then they're using not normal like terms. They're using a lot of scientific terms, a lot of like, political terms, a lot of acronyms and stuff like that. So when I was watching, my wife, she kept complaining like, I cannot like focus on the movie because she can't make up what they're talking. Yeah. So it was like, after the movie, right, she had to ask me, I don't understand what's this. I don't understand what's this. So I can understand, like, for a normal movie goer, and they go and watch the movie, or someone that is like not, how to say, if they go in just to like sort of like watch Mission Impossible. Yeah, they might get a bit like turned off by the amount of like incoherent dialogue that is like hard to process and stuff like that lah. Yeah, but I guess you don't find it a issue so much.
I don't find it an issue, honestly. I can follow. But because I watch it with my brother and his wife,
okay,
his wife had the same issue with Nat, in the sense that sometimes when the conversation get too much, right, she just turn off like, oh.
Yeah. Because it's a dialogue heavy movie, I guess that's why. Yeah. And then for me, my last complaint, maybe then before I can hand it over to you, is that the plot is not really very easy to follow.
Yes.
Yeah, so there are a lot of times that it can be quite confusing. So it's like they jump from here to jump to here. Then it's like, okay, so you have to keep like mentally like refocusing your mind to be like, okay, now I'm here. Now this point is here. I do think that they could have made it more linear in a way to sort of show like, okay, like maybe they interrogate him about the start, then they go back to the start of the film to go and show
okay.
Then they say, now we're interrogating the project. So then after they go there, and then after that, interrogating the end. Yeah. But the only reason I feel that maybe this Nolan had to jump around, right, is because of the character Strauss. Yeah. Because they need to show like his character in the future needs to be a prominent character at the start. You get what I mean? Yeah. So that's the only other reason lah. But I don't know. Yeah, but mainly those are my main issues lah. But what about you? What do you think? Like, what are some issues that you have in the film?
All my complaints or all my issues with the movie, right, can be summarized in one sentence: is I felt that he was trying to do too many things.
Okay.
Right. So actually, a lot of the things, right, if he had focused more, if he's more focused on one thing, right, then I think a lot of the other things could have been just taken away lah. So, like, for example, if you want to focus on the Manhattan Project, then you just focus on Manhattan Project, right? I would have liked for a more central theme, right? A bit like, for example, Inception. Inception at the start was very, very clear. This is about dreams within dreams, and I have a mission to go steal this thing from this person's brain.
Yeah,
and they just go about it. Besides from that, I didn't really have a problem with the jumping around in terms of the
narrative,
front and back. Yeah, present, past. I'm okay with that. Just that there was one part where they jumped into the past. I felt that they lingered too long in the past before coming back to the present, which is the part about building of the atomic bomb. I think, that part was so long. I even forget that we were supposed to be in the interrogation room because the talks for so long about this building of the atomic bomb.
I agree. Okay, now I think we've sort of like said like what we thought about the movie and stuff like that. What's your final sort of like review or opinion of the film?
Oh, please watch it. Even with all these criticisms, right, it's still easily the best movie I watched this year.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. It's easily the
Because
best
I
movie.
really feel that, I mean, pacing, cutting, all these things, right, and like putting aside all this, what I feel that are unnecessary. Actually, 80% of the movie is still very good because I felt that, it's so easy to get washed out and get focused on the Manhattan Project and sort of forget that there are people surrounding it, and actually, what makes this thing dangerous is actually the people around it. Yeah, so I like that. Actually, Nolan caught that and he sort of fleshed it out in the movie. But I just have to tell people when you watch it, you must be patient because the movie team doesn't come out so quickly.
I would say also, like, to add on to that, you have to go in with a removing the preconceived notion that this is not a normal Nolan like mind twist, mind F movie.
Yeah.
You're not gonna go in and expect like the whole movie is about what explosions here, explosions there.
Yeah, exactly.
there's mainly like one big explosion and then that's about it lah.
That explosion also was a dud. That's why you only have one big one.
You can't go in with the preconceived notion that it's going to be like some action-packed, mind-blowing, like Inception, Dark Knight, this type of thing. Yeah, if you go in with a mindset that, okay, this is going to be sort of a character study, which is going to be heavy on dialogue, but it's going to be a very interesting sort of perspective of how they made the bomb, the storyline and stuff like that.
Exactly.
I do think that you'll go in and enjoy it more.
Enjoy it, yeah.
Yeah. I just think for myself personally, like, I'll toss it over to you. When I watched this movie, I think because I didn't expect so much of the film to be like the story of Oppenheimer. I thought it would be more like, okay, the bomb and then like the after the bomb. I didn't expect it to be like the before the bomb is like so long and stuff like that lah. Yeah, which is like maybe 1 hour of the movie lah, which is really 1 hour.
Exactly.
one hour of the film lah. So for that, personally, did I enjoy it? Yes, I did enjoy it. But for the things that I did feel detracted from my enjoyment, right? I don't think that I can give it like in terms of like a grading system like a F to a A. Right? I wouldn't give it like
was
an A.
Was it affected by the old uncle that slept beside you?
No, only a bit lah, only a bit. Yeah, I enjoyed a 0.001. Right? Yeah lah, but I would say that I would give it like B plus A minus, that type of level lah. Yeah.
Yes, I totally agree. Yeah,
still a good movie.
Still a very good movie. It's one of his better movies. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still a good movie. I would say that it's on par with like maybe
Batman Begins.
Yeah, it's like a Batman Begins level. Exactly. Maybe like I enjoyed it a bit more than Dunkirk. That type of level lah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think it's around that stage, but it's not like Dark Knight. It's not Inception. It's not like Memento. That sort of like elite filmmaking lah. What about your final review of the movie?
Same. I will give you a B plus and very enjoyable. I was very close to giving him like B or B minus, but the last 1/3 of the movie really saved it lah.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's
so
like what brought it up lah.
Yeah, so I like you say, I think it's important that people understand that this is not a movie about. Okay, it's still a movie about the Manhattan Project, but I think the important thing is to sort of understand that the people surrounding them are the dangerous people. Yes.
Yes,
so
correct. Yeah. Go in there with a open mind and then you get it, open mind. Not open mind.
Oppenheimer mind.
Yeah, go with an open mind lah. And then also, actually I wanted to ask you this sort of at the end. Do you feel that this would have been better if it was a TV series?
Yes.
I also felt the same.
Because I felt that for the first 1/3, right, there's only two ways to go with it. You either cut it so lean that it fits the 2.5 hour movie frame, or you just branch it out and do like, 2 movies of it. That was my opinion then. But now you say TV series, right? I would have loved to see this in some, 6 to 8 episode series, Apple Plus or
HBO.
HBO also. Yeah, HBO has relationship with him, so can do.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the reason why that he didn't want to make it is because you can't have the IMAX experience or like which is the big budget thing. But I do feel like it would have been much better if it was a 6 series like HBO 6-part.
Yeah, then you
HBO
give all
series.
these characters a chance to so-called build themselves,
Yes.
Right, like Florence Pugh. I feel that there was a lot of potential in her character. Like she had mental illness, right? And supposedly when I did my research, actually Oppenheimer also had mental illness. Which is why he poisoned the apple, right? So I thought this is actually something that you can talk about, like why did the two of them get attracted to each other and how did mental illness sort of come in his way or help him, in his creation of the atomic bomb. I think that's interesting, right? So if we had a TV series and we have the length, we can slowly explore that. But yeah, this is a movie lah.
Yeah, it is a movie. It was a good movie, but I would say that similar to, especially after I see something like Chernobyl, the HBO Chernobyl, right?
Yeah,
which is like they flesh out a very unique situation where there are government people involved. It's a big situation where there's a nuclear reactor that went off. So they show like, okay, there's a political side, there's a like a main tension, like action side lah, which I felt like something like this Oppenheimer could have been similar.
Well suited for lah.
Well more suited for lah. So overall, for our final review, both of us, we are gonna grade it a B plus. I think B plus lah. Yeah, because we are A minus B plus. Overall, go out and see the movie, but we do sort of feel that there are flaws with it. You go with an open mind. I think you'll be sort of enjoy the movie lah.
Actually, it's a nice thing to take your mind off like 3 hours and stuff. And of course, I haven't watched Barbie, but I think it's a better movie than Barbie.
You haven't watched it yet. You don't know. Yeah, the box office says Barbie's doing quite well.
Okay.
Yeah. We shall see lah. I think I will be watching Barbie next week.
I didn't even know Barbie was being shown yesterday until I really saw 2 like Ang Moh kids, right? They really dressed like in all pink, then they go buy the ticket. Then I'm like, what's going on? Then I see them go take a ticket. Then I see the trailer. I'm like, oh, you mean Barbie is being shown also? Then then I see, okay, they're going to watch Barbie.
Yeah. And Barbie is beating Oppenheimer at the box office now. I think by double and stuff like that. Yeah lah. I think also when I was like queuing up to go and like collect my tickets, right? This guy, he came with his wife to like the automated ticket. The collector thing. Then he saw that the Barbie movie was sold out, right? And I was like, oh my god, no! The Barbie movie is sold out. And the wife is like, see, you never check. You always never check. And he's like, then we can wait. We walk around first, then we watch the other. So I think moral of the story, right? If you're gonna go to a high profile
watch
movie,
Oppenheimer.
If you can go and watch Oppenheimer. It's a good alternative lah. Okay, that was our Oppenheimer review.
Get out of here.
Oh, look at the time. The cinema is closing. But in the meantime, if you enjoyed the episode, please remember to give it a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe. We have episodes that drops every Monday. But at the same time, also, if you're into football, we have the Football Kaki that drops every Wednesday. And also, if you're into game shows, we have the SG Draft podcast that drops every Friday. Our last week episode was related to the Barbie. So if you want to go and watch the Childhood Toys Draft, you can go and watch that. Yeah. Also, if you're interested to go and vote for like fun topics or fun tournaments that we have, right? You can head over to our Instagram page for this week's topic. We're going to be putting like the tournament poll for the movies that came out this summer. So you can go and vote for which movie you thought was the best movie that came out this summer. I still think I prefer Mission Impossible more than
Oh, really? That good? Yeah. I haven't watched Mission Impossible yet.
It's damn good, brother. It's really damn good lah. Yeah.
It is the only first and not this is only the first part, and it's rare for the first part to be that good.
Yeah, no, it's really very good. It's the whole movie, you just feel it's damn exciting lah. Yeah lah.
Okay.
Yeah, my wife also, she's like, jumping here, jumping there and stuff like that lah. But I didn't, I also didn't watch the Spider-Man movie yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which like everyone is also raving about lah. Okay, but if you're interested to go and vote for the tournament poll for your favorite movie, right, head over to our Instagram page to go and vote. In the meantime, we hope everyone is going to the cinema to watch Oppenheimer. But if you don't want to watch Oppenheimer, it's okay. You can go and watch Barbie as well. But remember, Kopi Day keeps troubles away.
Amateurs seek the sun and get eaten. Powers stays in the shadow.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Ziyong. Bye, man.